Turning 30 made me reflect on my 20s, and it is safe to say that it was not what I expected to be. It was not a decade filled with parties and fun, but more so filled with anxiety, overworking, and insecurities. I am making this video to share the lessons that I have learned in my 20s, and hopefully it will help you guys as well. The first thing I want to share is probably the most important one, and that is take your time with whatever you are doing. When I was in my 20s, I was in a complete rush to achieve everything I wanted to achieve, and I was trying to do it all at the same time and also do it perfectly. And in the end, this made me realize that I was miserable and not happy and not really enjoying my life. If I could talk to my younger self, I would tell her to just relax, take things slowly, and everything that I want to achieve will be achieved without me burning myself out. For example, with my degree, I was studying so hard to get good grades, but in the end, nobody really asked for my grades. They only wanted to make sure I had my degree, which I had. And I think if I let go of focusing on those grades and focusing on being a perfect student, I would have enjoyed my time as a student a lot more and my life outside of school, instead of constantly stressing, being anxious of not being good enough. I could have just enjoyed my 20s a lot more. So my advice would definitely be let go of being perfect, let go of trying to do everything at the same time. Next one is about self-love and trusting your intuition. In your 20s, you are figuring yourself out, you're figuring life out, you're trying to know what you want to do in life. And the best advice that I can give you with this is truly follow your heart. Do not let the external world cloud your intuition. This is what I did, and this made me feel so lost in my 20s. I really became good at just going through the motions, living as a robot, just turning my mind off or my feelings off. And I really truly believe if I could go back in time, I would probably done something else with my life, probably something more creative, because that is where my heart is. And I would have been so much kinder to myself. I think we are all in the same world trying to figure life out, and this is very difficult at times, and being compassionate to yourself makes a world of difference. The next one is very connected to self-love and intuition, and that is never feeling good enough about yourself. In my 20s, I would always compare myself to others. I would also always put a lot of pressure on myself. And what I learned in my 30s is that you do not have to have the perfect life to be good enough. You do not have to be married or be in a relationship or have a certain degree or whatever you think you might need. The biggest lesson here is that I figured out that nobody really cares about you. And this might sound very harsh, but also very freeing, because people are so caught up in their own issues, in their own struggles, in their own insecurities, that they don't really think about you. So just feel free to be truly who you want to be, and to learn to stop looking for acceptance from other people and just start to accept and love yourself the way you are. Next one is about friendships. And most likely when you are in your 20s, you have friends that you've been friends with for a long time, maybe from high school or even earlier in life. And those friendships might fade. And that is okay. You are growing up and you are changing, and the same thing applies to your friendships. And for me, what I really learned when I got towards the end of my 20s is that I really was able to find out who my true friends were, because I was becoming more and more confident, more and more comfortable in my own skin. I was finally able to let go of certain people without feeling that I wasn't good enough and without feeling loneliness, because I realized I have so many good people around me and not everybody deserves my energy. So my advice would definitely be, if you have any doubts about people around you, maybe you should listen to that inner voice, and maybe you should take your energy away from them. And finally, I wanted to talk about finance. And this is probably not something you're thinking about when you are in your 20s. I certainly wasn't, but I do regret it a little bit because knowing how to manage your finances is such an important part of life, and especially adult life. And starting to take care of your finances in your 20s can give you such a head start in life. For me, I never really paid attention to this until my late 20s and now in my 30s. But I would have been so much further in my financial journey if I started earlier. And a very simple thing you can do, and I wish I did when I started working next to my studies, is to save a certain percentage of money every month and be consistent with it and not spend all the money you make or even more. And the money you are saving with this, you can invest wisely later. You can use it for buying a house or maybe buying a car or whatever you want to, or even paying off a part of your student debt whenever you start working. It will just give you such a head start in life. These are some of the things that I wish I knew in my 20s, and I really hope that sharing my lessons and my insecurities with you guys will help you to realize that first, you're not alone, and maybe it will help you to do things differently. I will see you next time.